So the first thing that I want to get to is web management. So now we're managing the various parts of the website, basically. So I'll kind of, we'll go through some things, and I'll kind of show you. Whoops, let me see here. We'll go through some things, and we'll, I'll show you some different parts of the website. I'm just going to use this website as an example because it has basically all of the features of the websites that I'm talking about here. But we'll kind of go through things one by one. First off, the schedule page. The schedule page is built by using season management. That was the first one of these that we did. So you go into season management, you create your schedule. You don't have to worry about re-entering it on the website. So if you're creating a schedule for yourself to use to score races, you're also creating the schedule on the website. There's no second step there. Same thing with results. If you've got a specific results tab, or as you run races, your schedule will start to show results instead of details. That's also done by scoring races in MyRacePass, utilizing race management. Same thing with points. Come over to the points tab. This is a great example for points, but if you're calculating points in race management at the end of your races, the points page will start to show up with that data as well. So the three most high traffic areas of a website, all of the information is already put in there because you're using race management already. You don't have to worry about re-entering or duplicate enter or anything like that. It's just going to appear for you just by scoring the race, so you won't have to worry about any of that stuff. Next example here is media. So for media, photos or videos, and they've actually got news underneath this as well. We'll get to news in just a second. But I'll start with the photos and videos. So on the back end in web management, as you click on the globe at the bottom of the screen, the tabs list is a little bit different. It shows up at the top of the screen, but media is one of the tabs up here. So I'm going to click on photos, and we'll go through the various options for photos here on the website. So first off, you can have multiple galleries. So as I come to photos tab, I can create galleries. I can add galleries. So that way, and I'll use Lucas Oil Late Model Alert Series as an example, instead of just coming to photos and seeing a wall of photos, you're going to start to see options that you can choose from. This year's photos, last year's photos, the year before. You can just do, victory lane photos in there. You can do event flyers, whatever you want. Whatever different groups of photos that you want to have, you can add as a gallery. So once I've got those done, now I can click into a group of photos and see all of the photos inside that gallery. And this is where you're also going to be adding or uploading photos. Now, for the photos that already exist, there's a couple of different things that you can do here. First, you can reorder them. So I can click Reorder Gallery, and I can drag and drop to change the order of the photos as they exist, whatever else. However I want them to appear on the website, and save the order. Second thing that you can do here in this screen is you can add captions to your photos. So I go in here, I can add captions. I strongly, and cannot emphasize this enough, for legal reasons, strongly encourage you to add captions to all of your photos. Please add captions to your photos that you're going to upload. I won't get into the specifics of why, but I can promise you that it's going to help you out in the long run to add captions to your photos. The other thing you can do on this screen is if you select the photos or select one or more photos, you can use these options to add it to another gallery or remove it from the gallery. Those options exist as well. And then you can also add new photos if you'd like. So we'll go ahead and add a photo to this gallery. A couple of different ways you can do this. You can choose an existing photo from a different gallery to add to this gallery. There's a miscellaneous area as well. So you can upload it into this miscellaneous area. And basically what that'll do is that will not allow the photo to be shown anywhere on the front end of the website, but it'll save it in this file manager area so that if you want to use it for a different purpose, like a news article or something like that, it still saves the photo here for you, but it just doesn't display it anywhere. Upload new. And this is you're either dragging and dropping from File Explorer or you're selecting a file to upload. Either way, you can tag these photos. So if it's of a certain driver or certain type of race car or with a certain series in town, whatever else, you can tag them differently to organize them differently on the back end. A lot of options here. But that's pretty much how you would add a photo to the website. So again, add captions. You can do all those things. Again, you can add or remove galleries. You can rearrange the galleries, all that kind of stuff. And then you can view all of your miscellaneous photos down here. So there's really not a lot to this photos area. You're either adding a gallery for your photos or you're adding photos to the gallery. Very, very simple stuff here. The next thing I'll show you then is videos. And videos is the exact same interface. There are no different. There's only one difference, one major difference here. Photos, when you add a photo, it's a local upload from your machine. So you're jumping into your machine and you're taking something off your hard drive to put in there. If you're adding a video, you're adding a YouTube link. It's got to be hosted online. So YouTube or Vimeo or Ustream or whatever hosting platform you're going to use, the video has to be hosted online. And that's the only difference. That is the only difference in the photos and videos interface. Otherwise, it's exactly the same. So when you're adding media to your website, this is how you do so. The other option for media being added to the website is this news tab. So they have news underneath the media. There's another not great example. So we'll go to news at Lucas Oil Alert Series. We're adding our news articles. This is what it looks like on the news tab. And here's how you would go ahead and add those news articles. There's a news tab at the top of the screen when you're in web management, or there's also a news tab on the left-hand side of the screen. However you get there, it's same. It brings you to the same place. A couple of options that you can see here. First off is when you first come to this news page, the first thing that you'll see is you'll be able to see a pop-up that will show you, and let me get you an example of this, a pop-up that'll show you any other networks outside of your own that have written a news article about you and tagged you in it. So a driver's coming to your track, a series is coming to your track, or if you're a series, you're going to a racetrack, or you're writing a post-race or whatever, anybody who writes a news article on their profile and tags you in it, you'll have the option to add that to your website here in news. And the adverse is true as well. When you go and create a news article and you tag other entities in it, if it's not a current client, it'll appear on their profile immediately by default. If it is, they'll have the option to add that. So here's what it looks like. I'll drag over this one. When I come here, dang it, I added all these last training, didn't I? Well, either way, a pop-up comes up, and we can press Find News, you get the same pop-up. You'll have the option to add or remove those. Secondly, if you hit the Find News button up at the top of the screen like I just did, you can search for another organization. So if I search for News for World of Outlaws, I can go through all of the different World of Outlaws tagged news articles. There's been 2 today. Racing Boys did one. Inside Line Promotions does a lot of them, whatever else. So you can add those news articles to your website as well. So again, you get USMTS coming to town, go in there, search USMTS. You can bring some USMTS news over to your website, that kind of stuff. That stuff works pretty easily. Now, in terms of adding a news article, pretty straightforward process. We'll hit Add News over the top of the screen. And as we add news, there's a couple of different things here. This is all pretty straightforward stuff. A heading, just the title line of your news article, thing that shows up at the top of the screen. Simple, straightforward there. You can add article credits, so you can give credit to your news writer if you'd like, for whoever you want that to be, or you can submit it as administrator. If you just want it to show up from the series or from the track as opposed to from a specific person, you can do it that way. And then, of course, the body. These are the words that you want in your article. One thing that I would recommend, and this is kind of a flashback from my years in working in education, but write the bulk of your news article in Word or some kind of other word processing software, and then copy and paste it here. The reason for that is you get 2/3 done, power goes out, you lose internet, whatever. You don't lose everything that you've already worked on. So write it in Word, paste it here, and then go ahead and publish. The other options here are you can add an article media. So again, brings you to that same File Explorer or File Manager screen. So you can either pull an image from one of your galleries, pull an image from your miscellaneous area, or upload a new image. Works the same way. You're basically just picking a new image, making it part of whatever gallery you want or no gallery. Drag and drop, tag the image, and you're all set there. Let me go back here, and I'll just choose at random this one. That's a good one, clean and simple. There we go. So that's going to be the media on my news article. because it's late enough at night, it's trying to move the news date to tomorrow, so we'll switch that back to today. Again, you can tag it as whatever you want. Then you hit the preview news button at the bottom. You must, okay, I have to put in at least one type. That makes sense. Okay, I'll add my media a second time. You have to tag it as something. Cool. And we will try that again. There we go. So it gives you a preview window. You can look at your image, the type of racing, all the tags that you put in, which removes nothing. And then, you know, the bulk of the article right here, and publish. Once the news article is published, a couple of other things you can do here. You can edit the news article, so you can make changes, whatever changes you want. You can share it directly to your social media accounts. And this is how I would recommend to do updates. I really want to get away from a world where we're putting an entire press release on Facebook. It's easy to get lost in the shuffle. People see it one time and then it doesn't come up for them again unless they go searching for it. It's not a great way to do things. And honestly, with the Facebook algorithm, if you've got a big wall of text on there on Facebook, it's not going to show up for a lot of people. Instead, make that a news article and share that news article to social media this way. It'll do two things. One, because of the algorithms, you have an image, and the algorithm will let that image show up before just a wall of text type of post, so more people are going to see it. Two, it'll drive traffic to your website. If you've got a website through us, chances are you're worried about digital advertising, the MRP digital ad program. And the MRP digital ad program only works if you're getting clicks and you're getting traffic to your website. News articles like this are the number one way you're going to continuously drive traffic to your website. Because if you've got something to say, people are going to click on it. Then even if they don't read the whole thing, at least you got a page hit on your website. That counts towards your MRP digital ad clicks. It's going to benefit you in the long run to have more people visiting your website more often. If you have any questions about a new website or what that digital ad program looks like, send them to our email address, support@myracepass.com. That's one of the reasons Chris is in here. Chris will be able to give you all that information about a new website and how the DA program works and how you can make money just by having people visit your website.
And with that too, guys, you know, having a long Facebook post, you know, it's not really that attractive on Facebook. People don't really read the long Facebook posts. Your best bet is to use a social media integration that Austin talked about and share your story and do a teaser that says, hey, new rules for 2022 posted here, and then make your fans click that to see all the information there. That way you're driving that traffic, because even if you don't have the digital ads integration, you can at least sell numbers, traffic numbers to your own sponsors as well too, to where you can tell them, hey, I'm getting like 2,000 views per story on my website, so let's go ahead and get you a sponsor logo on our site here for this amount of money. So things like that are great to show to potential sponsors for you.
Absolutely. Cool. Beyond that, you can make an article featured or not featured. The difference between the two is if I've got a featured article, chances are this image on the top of your homepage is going to be connected to your featured news article. So if you make it featured, it'll show up on the home tab. Now, some of our websites use a different feature called headlines for what shows up on home. So depending on your website, it could be different. But a lot of them, featured news shows up here, and all of the news shows up on the news tab. So that's the difference between featured and not featured. And obviously, you can view the number of you can see the number of views that article has gotten as well. That's on a delay though, so don't feel like it's going to be up to the minute. That's like on a 30-minute delay. But yeah, you'll be able to start seeing that type of information. Before we move on to some of the other tabs, does anybody have any questions about news or the file manager for photos or videos? Cool. The next option I'll show you are these custom pages. All of these fan info and driver info options are custom built pages. When you build a website through us, we call them super pages. That's the nomenclature, but they're custom pages. The way that's usually going to work is that when you're going through the process of building a website with Chris or with Clint Dahl or with whoever, you're going to tell us what you want on the website, and we're going to put that stuff in there. And then you're going to be able to come back and edit it later on. So it's usually under more, and then all of the different super page options that exist are going to go over here. So, you know, we got a rain out policy one in here. That's not a great example because we don't have anything in there. Yeah, a lot of different stuff in here. So you'll be able to go through and edit these things, but I'll tell you more often than not, if this is gonna, if there's a custom built page for content for you, and you've got something that you want to change, or you got questions about it or whatever, get a hold of us. Get a hold of ClickDoll, and we'll be able to make that happen for you. So I'm not going to spend too much time there. Next option here is the sponsors page. Sponsors page is very similar. You want to add or remove sponsors to your sponsor page, get that to us. We can resize the images, get the link behind the image to us, and we will add that information. We do not currently have a way on the front end of the website for individual clients to add their own sponsors to the sponsor page. We want to resize the images properly and make it look professional on all of our sites. So that comes through us. Send us those images. Next option here then is the contact page. So let me show you how these contact pages work. Up here, there's contact. The general contact is the first thing I'll show you. You'll see on the top of this screen, there's general contact information. That's where you want to put in this kind of stuff. Your phone, your address, all that kind of stuff. Now, I typically don't recommend to have all of this stuff in here. The reason for that is there's already going to be a form for people to reach out to you via email. Just underneath that on the contact page already. Like, there's already going to be an email form for people. So to have your email address listed isn't going to do you any good. You're just going to receive an email regardless. And if you've got your email listed in a public way, there's always the possibility that some web crawler will be able to get over top of it, and they'll be able to copy it and start sending you spam or junk mail. That's annoying. It's annoying for everybody. I don't need 25 Pizza Hut ads a day because I left my website on a public place. That's just how that kind of goes. Unless you really like Pizza Hut. I don't know, it's up to you. But you know, I typically don't recommend this, although there are going to be times where people want that listed. They want their address listed. They want a phone number listed, that kind of stuff. So, I mean, if that's what you want, if you want that listed in public, this is the place where you can do that. Second option here, form subjects. So again, I come to the contact page for any website that we're on. There is the form subjects right here. So we're going to send us your, you know, they're all going to look the same. Your name, your email, your phone, and then that just sends you an email with whatever message you put in here. You can put multiple subject lines in here for multiple things. The way that looks in here is that based on the subject line that you've got available, you know, general admission or general inquiries, sponsorship, merchandise, whatever you want that to be, you're choosing what email addresses you want to be able to receive those emails. So I can add a new email in here. I can add, you know, my own email. I can type, there we go, save. And then this email can be applied to, I'll put the general information subject line and add. And now if anybody emails us using the general information subject line, that'll come to me. You can have one subject line go to multiple email addresses. You can not have a subject line option if you just want it to be one email and make it simple. You can, you know, change it based off of whatever you want to change it. Really simple stuff in here. So you can do whatever you'd like to do there to make that form easier for you. Next option in here is staff members. So I'll use Lucas as an example. They've got all of these staff members in here for their individual contacts. If you want those staff members to show at the top of the screen, you add them here. If you want, you can add an image. You can do whatever you want there, but that's available for you if you want each individual employee of the racetrack to be listed out for people to contact individually. Then the next option is view messages. Even though that contact page will send an email out to the email addresses that you select, you can also come into this screen and view the messages in here as well. So that's largely how the contact page stuff is going to work. And then beyond that, there's really not much more. If you want, you know, custom tabs to link you to an external store, or if you want buttons in here for driver registration, or buttons in here to buy tickets, or whatever you want to do that way, we can facilitate all of those things. So don't be hesitant to reach out to try to get us the information that we're looking for in that regard. And, you know, we will be happy to facilitate whatever buttons you want on your website, linking to whatever places you want to go. Especially if you're selling tickets through MyRacePass. We want that to be a streamlined process for your customers, for your, for your fans. So we are happy to add those buttons into your website. Beyond that, though, that's all I really have to show you in terms of our websites. Those trainings typically go pretty quickly because, again, you don't have to You don't have to enter a schedule. You don't have to enter results. You don't have to enter points. It's all just available for you right there in one click. So Chris, you got something?
Well, yeah, and if you mentioned this, Austin, I apologize, but don't forget, if you are just using the race management program through us, don't have a full-blown website, you are still able to add news to your profile and share that out. The news is there for you guys. That will appear on your profile. It will appear on the MyRacePass app as well too, and anyone that favorites the app, your profile on the app will receive a push notification as well too. So don't think that, well, I don't have a website so I can't post news. It's still there for you guys, and there's a lot of traffic there at myracepass.com that doing so is very valuable to you guys.
Yeah. So the schedule results, your info, your news, all that stuff is on the profile also. So if I click into news here, I can view all the same news articles regardless. So yep, works the same way. Absolutely. And I still definitely recommend to put news articles out there, especially if you're, tagging drivers and series and whatever else. It makes it to where more people can look at what you're trying to do. So from there, I'm going to jump into our ticketing platform here. Online tickets. Online tickets has become a huge part of, how tracks and series are using MyRacePass to earn themselves extra money. Last night when I did this, it got kind of salesy, so I'm going to try to steer away from that. But I am telling you, if you're not using online tickets now, that is the number one thing that I can recommend for you to do to make yourself more money. The number one refrain that I hear from tracks on why they're not using online tickets is because, my regular customers are just going to come to the gate anyway. They're not even going to buy the tickets, so what's the point? Well, if you add online tickets, it doesn't cost you anything extra. You're still paying the same subscription price to us. You're not spending any extra money, and all of those same people are still going to come to the gate. What that means is that you're still going to make the same money that you've always made. So if the argument is that my regular customers aren't going to buy the online tickets, fine, they don't have to. The only people you're going to have to worry about then are the new customers. Well, what do you do to attract new fans? New fans are going to be used to buying online tickets. If you go to any kind of professional or college sporting event, for the most part, unless you're looking at like NAIA levels, you're buying tickets online or you're probably not getting in. If you're, rock concerts, the same way, country music concerts, whatever, that kind of stuff. I mean, with almost any major event that you go to anymore, people are familiar with and comfortable with a process to buy online tickets. So somebody from out of town is in town for that weekend. They're at a baseball tournament or whatever for their kids. They're looking for something to do that night. When they go to your website, they're going to say, there's, something going on at this racetrack. Let's check it out. If you have the option to buy that ticket right there, you're guaranteed that income. They're not going to change their mind. They're looking at that. They're going to buy the ticket. The only money you're going to make are new people. And let's face it, as a racetrack, that's the number one biggest concern is how do I attract new fans? Because the same fans that I'm getting every week, and oftentimes, yeah, that's great and that's wonderful, but you got to cater to new fans to continue to pay the bills, stay open, and make money. So I'll kind of get off of that. It's pretty simple to be able to add tickets. First off, you can view all of the previous tickets that you've got in here, and you can also add new tickets in the screen. So we'll add a ticket here. And as we go to add tickets, I can select an event. You have to have a schedule created before you can add tickets because you have to link the ticket to an event. So go in here, add your ticket, and we will do this one. Here we go. So here's what you're setting. And just to be clear, I'm also going to go over reserved ticketing here in short in just a little bit. This is not the reserved ticketing process. Reserved tickets will go through a different process. This is if you're adding general admission tickets. So if you're selling reserved seats, you have to get a hold of us. We have to build a map. There's a big process that goes behind it. But if you're selling just general admission seats, this is what you'll go for. First off, the ticket name is going to match the event name. If you don't put anything in here, it'll just be the event name. It makes it simple and straightforward. You can still change this if you need to. You're going to set your availabilities. When does it go for sale? When are you going to stop your sales? All that kind of stuff. If there's a pre-sale option, what's the pre-sale option? And then your dates and races times so they can be printed on the ticket. This next option is pretty important. If the event is canceled, how do you want us to handle that? So the way online tickets works is if your event happens, you'll go in there after the event happens. You'll say either the event happened or it didn't. If the event happened, we ACH you the money, goes directly to your bank account, and that's the end of the transaction. If the race didn't happen, that's where this comes into play. you have the option of either rain checking that ticket to a different night on your schedule that you'll pick. So, you know, those tickets will still be good for a different race, or to refund. We handle that mass refund. That's the biggest pain in the neck of online tickets, is handling refunds. If your race rains out and you're going to refund those tickets, we handle the refund. We handle those transactions. Makes it easy for you. Now, for individual refunds, if you've got, you know, just like 2 guys who said, hey, I bought tickets, but now I can't make it. Can you give me a refund? That's up to your policy. We give you the option to set your own policies and to handle those refunds individually on a case-by-case basis if you'd like to. We also give you the right to say, no, there are no refunds for our tickets. There are no exchanges for our tickets. What you bought is what you have. You know, best of luck trying to sell it on Facebook or whatever. You know, whatever you want to do there. So if you want to have ticket refunds, great. If you don't, that's fine. But in terms of a mass cancellation, we'll handle the mass refund of all the tickets if that's the route you're going to go. You can also come down here to start adding your ticket types. So, you know, GA or kids or seniors or military, whatever ticket types you want to have. There are a ton of them. We have a lot of ticket types built in here. And, you know, you can rename all of them as well. So if we don't have a ticket type that works for you, you can also set your own. But you can, you know, pretty easily do this. I'm going to select adult GA and kids GA, and that's going to be my tickets. I don't know, we'll go 25 and we'll go 10. In terms of availability, if you leave that blank or set it as a -1, it'll sell an infinite number of tickets. It'll never sell out. But if I put like 400 in here and the 401st person goes to the website to buy a ticket, it'll give them a message, the ticket's not available, it's sold out. So you have that option as well. Go ahead and add the tickets. And we've got our ticket down here. If I click on an individual ticket, this is where, again, you can get the funds or fulfill the refunds, however you want to do that. If I click this button, it'll send a text message confirmation to whoever's phone is associated with the ACH form. You put the confirmation code in here, and then you can either say, A, send me my money, or B, do the refunds. Either way, that's how you would handle that. You can also edit all of the information on the top of the form of that ticket information. You can edit all the information that was on the bottom of that form in terms of availabilities. You can put a ticket poster in here. So a ticket poster is basically just going to be some image that you want the fans to see during the ticket buying process. So if that's an event flyer or, you know, whatever that is, it's just some image that you can put in there. And then you can put coupons in here as well. Coupons are basically just an image that goes on the back of the ticket. So you want some marketing partner, it's going to give away 50% off oil changes to your ticket buyers. You can do that this way. If you want to give out, you know, 20% off your concession stand or whatever you want to image on the back of your tickets, you can do that here. You know, give your nightly sponsors some kind of extra love or extra reason for your fans to support those people that are sponsoring your events. However you want to handle that, that's up to you. There's also a sold tickets window that you can put on the top of the screen here. You can click on. This will basically just show you everybody who's bought a ticket from you. This isn't a great example because obviously I have a fake racetrack. Nobody's bought any tickets from it. But you can print a report that gives you all of your customer information. And you can also print a customer info sheet. So in this way, you can get all of the addresses and all of the email addresses of the people who have purchased tickets from you. So if you have some kind of direct mail marketing scheme or you have some kind of email marketing scheme that you're going to go through, you know, like if you run a monster truck rally, you know, once a year, you can go back and get all the customer information for last year's monster truck rally, and you can use that to start advertising it in 2022 to the people who supported that event last time, basically. So that's a pretty valuable tool. There's also a ticket window page up here, and this is where if you have a USB ticket scanner that you've routed into your machine at the front gate, you can scan the tickets that way. I, however, want to do away with this page because last year we unveiled a ticket scanner inside the app that is a lot more efficient. You don't have to click in this screen to make it work. It just works. It won't scan the same ticket twice. It won't scan a ticket for a wrong date, something like that. It'll give a red message there. But if the ticket's good, it'll give a green message. It'll reset, and you can scan ticket after ticket after ticket every 2 seconds and get people through your front gate extremely quickly and extremely efficiently with that in-app ticket scanner. Don't want to use an in-app ticket scanner? You can also use this page. Here, you just have to click this box, then scan it with your USB scanner. You can also see all of the tickets that are pending, so have not yet been redeemed. You can see all of the tickets that are redeemed, so you can see who came through the gate already, all that kind of stuff. But that stuff is available for you as well in the ticket window. You can also share a link to your tickets on social media here. So we'll share this. Shows up right there. The other options that you've got here, or one of the other options that you have here, is ticket analytics. I am going to show you an example of a ticket analytics screen here for one of our racetracks that we've got. So you'll be able to see a heat map of everybody who purchased tickets and where they were from. You can start to see who bought ticket, or in terms of towns, what municipalities are the most common ticket buyers, which to me just screams of another way to have targeted newspaper or radio advertising, so you know where people are buying tickets from. I'm going to advertise heavily in Mount Vernon because my customers come from there. However, if I'm already doing a lot of advertising in Whitehall, Montana, I'm going to say, hey, maybe this isn't paying off. Shows you the average distance traveled for your ticket buyers. How far in advance they're purchasing their tickets, the prices that they're paying, what types of tickets they're buying, gender and age demographics, all that kind of stuff. Which to me, this one's surprising. I would have thought that a younger crowd was buying more online tickets, but really 45 and above are buying a lot of tickets too. So that's an interesting one for me. Tickets sold by event, so I can view the analytics page for each individual event as well. And then the same type of report for on an event-specific basis, the report for your ticket holders is here as well. So it makes it, simple and easy to be able to capture that data for that individual event as well. This way, it's the same report, just in a different place. So that, in essence, is our general admission online ticket process. We also have very recently released a reserved ticketing process. So I'm going to show you this example here. This is what the general admission ticket buying process for your customers looks like. Fairly straightforward. You're basically putting in a quantity for tickets. You're adding them to your cart. You're checking out that way. Simple, easy stuff there. I'm not going to put anything in my cart right now. However, we recently released a reserved seating platform. So I can go in and select my seats this way, and I can choose a section, and I can buy reserved tickets now as well. That's what our reserved seating maps look like. If you're interested in reserved seating, it's a fairly custom process for each individual track. We'll take an aerial image of your facility. We'll start to, ask you questions about, how many sections, how many rows, how many seats in each row, all that kind of stuff. And we'll build a custom map for you. So if you're interested in selling reserved tickets, I use this example because actually at this racetrack, there is a reserved seating on top. And of course, I choose a section that's all reserved. Reserved seating on top and general admission seating down below. So if you're selling half GA, half reserved, we can facilitate that as long as it's not the same seat. Whatever you want to do that way. But if you're interested in this, send an email to support@myracepass.com and we can start the process of getting this set up for you. We're cranking out ticket maps. This is year one doing this. We've got a few of them up. We've got a few more that are in process. If this is something you're interested in, get a hold of us, and we will start the process of building it for you so that you can get it released for your biggest event or every event or whatever you want to do that way, and we can make that happen. There's not a lot of other things to show you in terms of the ticketing maps because we handle the build process here, but this is just kind of what it looks like for a customer when they go in to buy a ticket. They choose the section, they choose the seat that they want, and they go ahead and check out over here on the right. So pretty simple, straightforward process there. But again, any questions about that, send them in to us because we want to help facilitate that for you. Beyond that, there's a couple of other things that I want to show you, but there's also a lot of stuff that Chris wants to talk about in terms of MyRacePass Fantasy Racing. So I'm going to turn the floor over to Chris. He's going to give a little presentation about fantasy racing here, which is just such a valuable tool in terms of fan engagement at your events. So the floor is yours.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, I think Alston's in the fantasy racing area right now. Austin, if you want to pull up one of the Jim's Body Shop late model fantasy racing leaderboard there, I think they have some stuff added to that one. Yeah, I do. Yeah. So what we're looking at here, guys, we have fantasy racing available for you to have at your racetrack. And like most of the stuff at MyRacePass, it's automated. There is no extra work needed by you to run fantasy racing every night. The way it works essentially is as your scorers checking drivers in, the minute they save that and create the lineups for a particular class, that class will then trigger the system to go ahead and open up picks for your fans to make their picks on race night. And the way it works is, let's say you have a short class for a night. You have maybe nine drivers in the hobby stock class. Well, then you'll have 3 matchups of 3 drivers in each matchup, and then your fans will pick out who they want in that matchup and who they think will do the best all night long. So you might have Jim, Bob, and Bill to pick from. I picked Bill. Let's say Bill wins the A feature that night. Well, then I made the right pick because he had the best night over all of them. So it's a great way to really engage that fan base and to really bring on that new fan, and also allow your drivers to make new fans as well too. The leaderboard here gives you the opportunity to go ahead and create prizes to give away. On this one here, you can see I have prizes added here, and we have nightly leaderboards, season-long leaderboards that you can do for one or all of your classes. And essentially what's going to happen is when your fans play along each night, if they play along with every class every night or just one class every night, you're going to have a fantasy points champion at the end of the night, end of the season. So if you're running hobby stocks, sport compacts, late models, and modifieds, and a fan plays along every single night, makes picks in every one of the classes, he could be the fantasy points champion at the end of the year. And that's a huge deal. Fantasy football, hockey, baseball, they're all massive right now. And fantasy racing is included in that as well, too. And fans love to play along with that stuff. It really gives them a reason to engage in the action. Here we have a leaderboard set up right now that I created. And you can see that for the example I gave away season passes to the overall winner. And then Jim's Body Shop gave away a gift card for second and tickets to their Lucas Oil race for third. So when you add these prizes to the leaderboard, they will appear on the MyRacePass app so your fans can see what they're playing along for and a chance to win. The cool thing is with this, as I mentioned, you can go ahead and have a season-long leaderboard if you'd like, and give away prizes at the end of the year. But one thing you can do too is maybe you have like your main event coming up for the season. It's a 3-day show, and you want to have a standalone leaderboard. You can do that. You can actually create a leaderboard, customize it for a date range, and say these dates here, this class here, leaderboard created, add my prizes for this specific leaderboard. That way, your fans can make their picks in just those 3 dates and not affect the season-long point standings as well too. So there's a lot of different ways to engage in that. We do encourage you to give away prizes to your fans. We had some sanctioning bodies and racetracks last year that at the end of the year, their overall fantasy points champion, they invited to the banquet, actually. They actually told them, come on out, we're going to give you a jacket, give you a trophy, and we're going to give you some prizes as well too. So make them feel like they're part of the show. Make them feel like they're, if you're running 5 classes a night, make the fans feel like they're the 6th class of the night. So a lot of great things you can do there. You can give away nightly prizes as well too. Maybe some small things like, hey, if you're the overall fantasy champion for tonight's action, you win free passes the next week. Things like that. So we really encourage that. And as far as giving away prizes go, we encourage you to talk to your sponsors about that, because I guarantee you, when you tell your sponsors who are already looking for an outside-the-box idea to really gain value in your partnership with them, when you tell them, hey, I have a fantasy racing league that I do, and we're going to have the fans play along with it, can you donate some prizes? They're going to jump on that right away. It's a cool thing to be part of. And the sponsors might even play along too as well. So this tool is here for you guys to engage that fan base and to really have fun with it and really, get your fans engaged with the action there as well too. For the fans, $6 a month is all it takes to play along with. They can play at your racetrack. They can play at any racetrack they want. They can play any number of racetracks in a certain night as well too. So that does include live timing and scoring, insider stats, in fantasy racing as well too. And the cool thing is obviously we want fans to be at your racetrack. So when a fan allows the app to use his location and is at your racetrack on race night, he's going to receive 5 bonus points at the beginning of the night. And every pick that he makes correct, he'll gain 1 extra point for every pick as well too. So we actually give bonus points for being at your facility and playing along with the action. So we encourage your fans to play along at your track with that as well too. So it's a lot of fun to play along. Fans love it. We've had some leaderboards that get almost 2,000 fans playing along at one time. So we encourage you guys to make the most of this. As I mentioned, it's free for you guys to go ahead and set up, and it runs itself. It really does. One thing I'll note too here, Austin, if you want to scroll up real fast, where the prizes are added here, you can go ahead and add these prizes in. Once you do click publish prizes on the blue section there, once you publish them, they're permanent. So make sure you double check your work, make sure everything's right, make sure you want to go ahead and make sure everything's accurate there, because once you do publish them, they are no longer editable on there, and you can't add anything to them as well too. So make sure they are 100% correct on there. But in this stage right here, I went ahead and added them, saved them in the back end, and that way you can do that. And then when you're all done for the season or for that particular leaderboard, also if you want to scroll down here where it says winners, you can go ahead and award those prizes out, and it will tell you who won that leaderboard, their first name, last name, and their email address. So you can contact them and let them know, hey, look, you want a prize? Here's what we got going on for you. So have fun with it, guys. Just have fun with it and engage your fan base and tell your drivers about it too. They're having a great time with this, I promise.
Absolutely. Cool stuff. Yeah, that's such a fan engagement tool. That's such a thing. Like, I hate to say it, people probably my age are going to be on their phone regardless. So do you want them engaging with your race or your facility during that process, or do you want them, looking at Facebook at something else they could be doing next weekend? So that's kind of where we're at with that. Beyond that, last thing I really want to show you here is I want to kind of go over some of the reports that we have that are some of the more popularly used reports. And I'm not going to look through every single report on here, but there are a couple that I want to highlight that are, I find a little bit more useful than most others. I'm going to start with this transponder list in the entry reports. Now we've got a lot of different reports that you can run for your entry list for each event, your unique entries across, whatever else, all that kind of stuff. Transponder list, though, is something that I've got that's really valuable that I use all the time. So I can click on any date, and I would be able to see the entire list of everybody who raced with me, their transponder numbers. And here's the really valuable part, the checkbox to show you if they rented their transponder or not. So you can run this report for a race night, and this way you know who to chase down in terms of who rented a transponder from you or who didn't. So this can be valuable if you're renting transponders out. I still recommend to take something like a driver's license from them so they have an incentive to give it back. But this is the report that'll show you who rented a transponder and who didn't. You'll also be able to see various lineup options in here. So, what gets exported into Westhold, a qualifying order, that kind of stuff. But the lineup sheet is the one that I use most often as an announcer, because it'll give me in the lineup order, basically the car number, the name, and the hometown of each driver in the order that they're going to start. As an announcer, I use this because it just makes it a whole heck of a lot easier to try to find that data. The lineup sheet's really nice. There's also a chalkboard lineup option, which will basically just give you all that same information in a different format. So it doesn't list the hometown. It just gives you the number and the name right there. I know that there are some scorers out there who prefer it like that. But you can do whatever you'd like with those different lineup reports, but just, kind of see, what they look like and what works the best for you and your people at your track. There's also a list of results reports. This probably won't come into play, I don't think, for anybody in here. But if you're an IMCA track, we've got a special IMCA report that you can send to Virginia to get your IMCA points in. But otherwise, yeah, all your results are in here, the media format of your results, all that kind of stuff, all in there. The yearly results report is really nice as well for something like a banquet at the end of the year, because I can just pick any schedule and it's going to give me everything for each race night for each class. So that can be pretty nice too, to be able to gather all those stats at once. There's different point reports in here as well. Your current points, your points by date, same thing with your payouts, all that kind of stuff. The different point average reports, we got a lot of different ways to do point averages, whether that's in a different report or in different lineups or however you want to do it. There's a lot of different points reports, though, so you can make sure that you're finding what works for you the best. The one that I want to highlight on this screen is the 1099 report. 1099 report's really valuable and works in conjunction with doing payouts at the end of race management, and it works in conjunction with registrations. So basically, your drivers register, and that's how you get their address information. And then when you calculate points and pay at the end of a race night, it'll keep this yearly tally all year long. And so in this 1099 report, basically all this will show you is based off the payee, whether it's a driver or an owner, how much money they made, as long as it was more than $600, and then what their address is. And you can export this in a PDF or an Excel and basically just combine it with whatever their social security number is, where wherever you house that information to create your 1099s. It makes the 1099 creation process go a lot more smoothly at the end of the year. And that's one of the reasons why registration is so important. You're going to have your drivers basically auditing their own address and contact information for you just by registering. So you're not in the crisis mode at the end of the racing season where you say, oh, I don't have this guy's address. I don't know where to send him a 1099 to. And I've been there before where I'm trying to find people on Facebook so I can ask them what their address is and stuff like that. Like, just make sure you've got it. Make sure you've got it in advance. And if you've got it through MyRacePass, it'll make this 1099 report go a lot smoother for you. A couple of other reports that show at the very bottom for competitors. You can see the list of the DQs. The stats is another option as well. It's just some really general stats. But if I can select a schedule, I'll just go with my, there we go, that one. And then I can go in here and I can look at, for everybody, the 8 features they made, the wins, the top 5s for every class. So there's a lot more data in there. Wins, top 5s, top 10s, all that kind of stuff. Makes it easier that way. So like I said, I didn't look at every report that we've got in here, but I looked at, some of the ones that I use most commonly. I strongly encourage you to get in here and take a look at the report information to see if there's anything that's going to benefit you or help you, at any point throughout the season, whether it's during the year or the end of the year. And then the only other thing I'll show you is in this tools option, contact list. And this is where you can put in all of the information for each driver or for each owner in terms of what you need. So I can go in here and I can say, okay, for Charles Brown Jr., I can view the contact information. I can edit the address. I can edit the emergency contact, all that kind of stuff. So if you got drivers who aren't registering, but you still need to be able to track what they're doing, drivers or owners, you can go in here and you can view it all that way, and it makes it simple and easy for you. But that's really all I have got for tonight. I know that wasn't as much information as we've gone through the last few nights, website stuff, ticket stuff, whatever else. But before we wrap up here, last opportunity here, ask some questions. If you've got any questions about any of this stuff, does anybody have anything for us? Cool. Well, in that case, we've done this 3 times in a row now on these Wednesday nights. That means that 3 times you've taken an hour away from your families or your daily lives or whatever else. So I definitely appreciate the heck out of everybody doing so. It makes a difference for us when we've got people who are willing to learn and excited to learn and do those types of things. I also want to say being a part of a race tracker series is a thankless job in most places. It's a heck of a sacrifice, and it's definitely a passion project that nobody's in to make money. So I personally want to thank you for being a part of your local racetracks. From there, if you do have any questions, send them into support@myracepass.com. That's our support email address, support@myracepass.com. That way it can get in front of all of us, myself, Dakota, Chris, anybody else on the team, and we can all get back to you and answer your questions. But until then, thanks again, everybody, for being a part of it, and enjoy the rest of your evening.